So today I'm doing a review and demo of the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. And this foundation comes in 20 shades. I'm using the shade Rose Ivory, and it's a little bit off for my skin tone, but it was the lightest shade that my Walgreens had. And this foundation is $5.99. It comes with a little, like, I don't know how to call this, like a little scraper thing. So you just dip it in and wipe it on your face, which is what I'm doing now. And it claims to have a matte finish with a light diffusing complex to give your skin a no filter look. And it was tested under 7 light conditions with and without flash, so it should not have any flashback. So we're going to see how it does with that. And at the end of this video I'll insert pictures with and without flash. And so you can see I was struggling, like I wiped it in my hair, and right here I was talking, my mom, I was getting ready for church and she was asking me stuff, so that's why I'm doing a voiceover. But yeah, I'm just dabbing it all over my face. And I actually normally I really want a pump, but since it doesn't have a pump, I like that it has this little scraper thing so you don't have to pour it out and make a huge mess. And so on that side of my face, I'm going to be doing, on one side I'm going to be using the Real Technique sponge, and on the other side I'm going to be using the Moda brush that you can get from Walmart. And it blended out pretty well with the sponge. I liked it. I will say, and you'll see this in a minute, it took more time to blend out with the sponge, just because I was patting it in really well, and the Moda brush was faster. But they both looked really good, and I think the sponge gives a little bit more of a natural look, but I don't think there was a huge difference either way. And when I was looking at it, to me, it was matte on me. I have pretty dry skin, but it wasn't like a super crusty, drying matte. And it was like, I was super surprised at the coverage of it. Like, I would say it's a high medium, depending on how much you put on, but for me, it looked like pretty full coverage. So I was highly impressed with it. And this was my first time applying it, so my initial first impression was really, really good. And yeah, as you can see, it just blends out a lot faster with this brush. So yeah, if you're in a hurry, do it with a brush. If not, do it with a sponge. Either way, I think it'll look great. So yeah, it covered pretty much everything, and I thought it looked really, really good without being cakey and crusty and drying. And here's kind of a close-up view. And my hair was crazy, so just ignore that. Love it. Here I'm just testing out how it does with how it blends with the rest of my makeup, and I sort of sped this clip up just so it wouldn't be super long of me putting on the rest of my makeup. So I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair for under my eyes and to highlight my nose, forehead, and chin, and I'm just blending that out with that same Real Technique sponge. And the concealer blended in really nicely. And then I'm using the RCMA No Color Powder to bake my face. So I'm just dipping it in and putting it in the places where I put that concealer, which I mostly just focus it under my eyes. And if you're wondering, for eyeshadow, I used the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Alright, so I'm letting that sit, and now I'm going to powder the rest of my face with a Maybelline Better Skin powder in the shade Porcelain with a big fluffy brush. So I have dry skin, but my makeup just doesn't stay well if I don't powder. And then I'm using the L'Oreal Glam Bronze bronzer in the lightest shade. I think it's just in light. And the e.l.f. contour brush. And just carving out my cheekbones. Nothing too crazy, and just blending that out. And normally if a foundation is bad, I can tell because my bronzer and blush and just powder doesn't blend out as nicely, and I was just super impressed with this one. It blended out really well. I had no problems, and I was kind of doing my makeup in a hurry, and it still turned out good. So when it was being applied, I really liked it. Then I'm just wiping off that powder to bake, and I just feel like baking gives like a flawless, more full coverage look. And a lot of people do first impressions and they don't use powder or anything, but I do just because this is how I do my makeup every day. So why not use it? And right now this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer, I think, but it's really a highlight in the shade Reserve Your Cabana. And it's like, I feel like it works as really good setting powder if you have dry skin because it has a slight glow to it, but not like too highlighted. Then I'm using the Anastasia Glow Kit, the Nicole Guerrero collab, and I'm mixing colors and putting that on the tops of my cheekbones. And I think I'm going to do a review of this palette, so let me know if y'all want to see that. And look at that glow. Spoiler alert, I love that. I love this glow kit, and I think it's beautiful. And I'm just putting that on the high points. Cupid's bow, chin, nose, cheeks. And then I'm using my Tarte The Holiday blush palette. And I'm at home in North Carolina, and so for the best lighting, I was literally sitting on the floor of my bathroom, so in true Anna style, I didn't realize the toilet paper roll was behind me, so sorry about that. This was the best lighting I could do, and I really wanted to film this, so yeah, this is how it goes sometimes. And then I'm just finding a lip gloss. And I'm actually using ColourPop Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Midi first for my lips. And then I'm just going to go over top of that with the Illuminate by Ashley Tisdale and BH Cosmetics lip gloss in Tan Lines and put that on top. And I just think that's a really pretty, like, glossy nude. Like I said, I love BH Cosmetics, and I think they're very underrated. And then I'm going to set everything with my Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. So I finished spraying the setting spray and was like messing with my hair, but here is a close-up look of how my face looks with all my makeup on. Besides my crazy eyebrows, I think everything turned out pretty well. Everything blended nicely, and I just really liked how it turned out. It wasn't cakey, it just looked pretty natural and pretty. So let's see how it wears throughout the day. So this is how it looks with all my makeup done and in natural lighting in the car on the way to church with my mom. But I'm not going to show her because I don't think she wants to be on camera. And it blended out really well, and I think it looks really, really good so far, and like really full coverage. So we'll see how it lasts throughout the day, and I'll be back to check in. So it's been about 8 hours now, since I put the foundation on, and it has stayed on really well. My blush, bronzer, and highlight still on. Normally by this time, most of my foundation is off of my nose, and it's only faded a little bit in this area, and I was like blowing my nose and stuff, so that's to be expected. But otherwise, it stayed on really well. I'm a little bit shinier than I was when I first put it on, and I generally have pretty dry skin except for on my nose, but it's nothing bad. It's not cakey. It looks really good, and yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it, and I think it would be good for all skin types. If you're dry, it's pretty full coverage, but it's not going to be like crusty and like make your skin just look ugh and cling to super dry patches. And if you're oily, I think it'll work really well as long as you set it with a powder pretty well. So yeah, so far I'm loving it. Excuse me, everything blended out really well on top of it, and yeah, I'll check back in probably one more time before I wash my makeup off tonight. But for a $5 foundation, this is like really good, and I'll continue to use it. So yeah, I'll see you in my next check-in. Hey guys, so it's been over 12 hours now, and everything is still on. Literally, like, I'm obsessed with this foundation. Like, my blush and contour, highlight, everything is still on. The only place where it's worn a little bit is right here around my nose and a little on my chin, but I was like rubbing that, and that's it. So I highly recommend this. It's awesome. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm about to go wash this makeup off my face and go to sleep. So yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, leave me your comments down below. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye!